Marcus Williams sat in his car in an empty parking lot. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. He couldn't sleep. This was his home now. His car. A 2008 Honda Civic with a broken air conditioner and a crack in the windshield. 6 months ago, Marcus had a good job. He was a manager at a software company. He had an apartment. He had a life. Then everything changed. First, his company closed. 200 people lost their jobs. Marcus was one of them. He looked for new work every day. He sent out 50 resumes. Then 100, then 200, nothing. His savings disappeared. First, he couldn't pay for his apartment. Then he couldn't buy food. Finally, he had only $47 to his name. $47. That was everything he had in the world. Marcus's family lived far away in another state. His pride wouldn't let him call them. His friends stopped answering his messages. They were busy with their own lives. He was alone. Some nights, Marcus sat in his car and cried. He was 32 years old, and he had nothing. He felt like a failure. People walked past his car every morning. They had jobs to go to. They had homes to return to. They had lives. Marcus had a car. And $47. How did this happen to me? He asked himself every night. Where did I go wrong? One morning, Marcus was sitting in a coffee shop. He spent $2 on a small coffee so he could use the internet and charge his phone. He was looking at job websites again. Nothing new. The same jobs he wasn't qualified for. The same rejections he expected. Then he saw an old man at the next table. The man was reading a newspaper. Marcus noticed the man's watch. It was expensive, very expensive. The old man looked up and smiled. Tough times? He asked Marcus. Marcus was surprised. Could this stranger see his situation? Did he look that desperate? Yes, Marcus said quietly. Very tough times. The old man nodded. I know what that's like. I've been there. They talked for an hour. The old man's name was Robert. 20 years ago, Robert had also lost everything. He had been homeless. He had slept in his car, just like Marcus. What changed? Marcus asked. I stopped looking for a job, Robert said. I started creating my own. Marcus didn't understand. But I have no money, no skills, nothing. That's not true, Robert said. You have experience. You are a manager. You understand business. You have time. And you have something more important than money. What's that? Marcus asked. You have nothing to lose, Robert said. When you have nothing, you are free to risk everything. Robert explained his idea. Find a problem that businesses have. Solve that problem. Start small. Use free tools. The internet makes everything possible now. Marcus listened carefully. For the first time in 6 months, he felt something he had forgotten. Hope. That afternoon, Marcus sat in his car with a notebook. He made a list. What problems did he see when he was a manager? One problem came up again and again. Small businesses needed help with social media. They wanted customers online, but they didn't know how to reach them. Marcus knew social media. He had used it at his old job. He wasn't an expert, but he knew more than most small business owners. That night, Marcus made a decision. He would start a social media consulting business. He had no office. He had no money for advertising. He had no clients. But he had $47, a laptop, and a plan. The next morning, Marcus walked into every small business on Main Street. Hello, I'm Marcus. I help businesses grow their social media for free, just for 1 week. If you see results, you can hire me. If not, you pay nothing. Most owners said no, but on his 23rd try, a restaurant owner said yes. Fine, she said. You have 1 week. Show me what you can do. Marcus worked 18 hours that day. He created Facebook posts. He made Instagram content. He replied to every customer comment. By the end of the week, the restaurant had 50 new followers. 3 people came in because they saw the posts. The owner was happy. "How much do you charge?" she asked. Marcus hadn't thought about this. He needed money desperately, but he also needed to be fair. $200 per month, he said, trying to sound confident. "I'll pay you $300, the restaurant owner said, "but only if you promise to work with me for 3 months. Marcus tried not to show his excitement. Yes, absolutely yes. That was the beginning. Marcus slept in his car for 2 more months, but now he was saving money. Every dollar went into his new business. He walked into more businesses. He showed them his results from the restaurant. Some said yes, some said no. After 3 months, Marcus had 5 clients. He was making $1,500 per month. It wasn't much, but it was enough. He rented a small apartment. The first night in his apartment, Marcus cried again. But this time, they were tears of relief. He kept working. He got better at social media. He learned new skills online. Everything was free on YouTube. By the end of year 1, he had 15 clients. He was making $6,000 per month. By the end of year 2, he had 50 clients. He hired 2 people to help him. His company was making $20,000 per month. By the end of year 3, Marcus had built a social media agency with 12 employees and 200 clients. His company made over $1 million in revenue that year. Marcus Williams, the man who slept in his car with $47, he was now running $1 million business. Today, Marcus lives in a nice apartment. He drives a new car, not because he needs to show off, but because his old Honda Civic finally stopped working. But Marcus didn't forget where he came from. Every month, he goes back to that coffee shop where he met Robert. He buys coffee for people who look like they're struggling. He talks to them. He listens to their stories. Some of them, he helps start their own businesses. Robert gave me hope when I had none, Marcus says. Now I do the same for others. Marcus still works hard, but now he works with purpose. He knows what it's like to have nothing. He knows what it's like to lose everything. And he knows that having nothing can be the beginning of having everything. Marcus's story teaches us an important lesson. Your current situation is not your final destination. When you have nothing to lose, you have everything to gain. The difference between failure and success is not luck. It's not money. It's not connections. It's one decision, the decision to start. Marcus made that decision in a parking lot with $47. What decision will you make today?